Hi, and welcome to
Coffee, Glasses, and a Ponytail. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of Coffee, Glasses, and a Ponytail. My name is Brandon, or Glasses if you choose.
My name is Molly, or Ponytail if you... What have you done? Or Ponytail if you want. And this is our father-daughter podcast.
Our episode today, for the next lot of episodes, is about a book called Inkheart. It's about a father and a daughter.
Fitting, I know.
Molly has already read the trilogy, but I haven't, so I'm going through it, taking notes without knowing what happens.
Whereas I just reread it and am highlighting interesting parts.
You can find us on Spotify and YouTube at Coffee, Glasses, and Ponytail. Now, let's jump into it. All right, so, as we said in the intro, I have not read Inkheart, although I do like fantasy, science fiction, almost any kind of book, and so I thought this would be fun. I actually heard Stranger Things podcast with father and his daughter. They've been doing it for a while, and so I thought it would be fun for us to do.
Are we just doing the first 5 chapters?
Well, I mean, we'll just see how far we get. I think I only have outlined the first
chapters because I didn't find anything interesting.
Oh, I think I just did the first chapter outline anyway.
Okay.
So, because I figured this is going to be a test, and
yeah.
So, but I just want to kind of see how it goes. Yeah. As you see, we love our coffee in my glasses, and we do have a theme of a ponytail. So, all right.
Why are the lights flickering? Or maybe they aren't. Maybe it's just...
I think it's just the recording. So, that's a little bit about me. I mean, like I said, I've been reading since I was, pretty young. Liked books since I was probably 10, 11 years old.
Right now, he's over that age mark of 10, 11, and 12.
Yes, but not by much.
Oh.
No,
okay.
not by much, yeah.
Right.
So, in my heart. And one of the things that I wanted to pass on to Molly and Cohen, my son, is a love of reading, and they both like that. So I thought, what funner thing to do than, do a podcast on something we both enjoy doing. So, you have anything you want to say about yourself before we get started? Really?
I like books.
Are you interesting at all?
Wow. I love the confidence in me. I am 13. My mom didn't even have to teach me to read because I just caught on to it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
So
super interesting.
Before we get started, what did you like so much that you wanted to be like, hey, let's read Inkheart and talk about that one?
It's just a good father-daughter book.
It is. Yes, it is. It's about.
It's a little dark sometimes.
It's well, darker than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
The next time before you recommend the book to your kid, maybe not trust online sources. Google is not your friend. No, it's not that dark. It's not that
Wikipedia.
So, yeah, like she said, I have not read this. She has, so we're just going to kind of go through and talk about, theories I might come up with, or things that she likes that are interesting. And so, first chapter, they don't have chapter names, do they? Or do they?
No, they do.
Do they?
Stranger in the night. Strangers in the night.
Yes, thankfully,
copyrighted.
A singing podcast. Singing podcast.
Sing-songing.
So my first question, as I started reading it, because I've read a lot of science fiction and mystery and all those kind of books, is kind of question everything from the beginning. So I thought first time was, well, why did she call her father Mo instead of Dad? So I don't know. I assume maybe that later on we'll find out that he really isn't her father. That somehow, through at this point, I don't know what really is going on, but we'll find out that maybe she's adopted.
It's a confusing. Like you're just kind of thrown in. Like it doesn't give you a whole lot of background.
No, yes, like you're right in the middle of a story.
Yeah.
Which is fine because a lot of authors spend several chapters doing introductions. Like I love Lord of the Rings,
but it's just so long for the introductions.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
So The second thing is the mom is not present. We don't
No, she is
know at all why. So I wonder, did they get divorced? There's no backstory as of yet. So I wonder, does she get divorced? Is she dead? If she's dead, how'd she die? How is it important to the book? And really, there's not enough information right now for me to even.
No, it's not.
I assume she's dead, but I don't really know. And then it mentions pretty early on, I'm not sure what page, but her dad is, I think, already put her to bed, and she's trying to get to sleep, and it mentions a book that she's reading, and again, I always question, why the book isn't named.
No, it's not.
And so I didn't know if it had any kind of importance. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but...
Well, it said that in the book it got later at night, so whenever it got later at night, she'd stop reading. She'd put it under her pillow, and she'd lay down, and she would, imagine it telling her the story.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of why that...
So it might not be overall that important. It's just
No,
kind
it's not. It's not.
Okay. Spoiler.
Sorry.
All right. But it does mention that she is reading, along with other books she's reading, she refers to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference. I haven't read the book yet.
Well, it in itself is about a doctor that I believe, I haven't read it, I've just seen
Hence
movies
the
and
title.
references.
Doctor.
Right, the doctor, right. Invents a potion, I think, that he drinks and it turns him into this kind of big brute of a man but when he switches back to the doctor, he doesn't remember what he did. So I wonder if it's at some point that has some kind of importance into the story, kind of foreshadowing of he's this person at this point. So I didn't know if maybe Mo kind of is an alternate personality or somehow he switches back and forth, because as we find out in just a little bit, his actual name for the rest of the book, when certain characters are referring to him, is Silvertongue.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if Mo was like the nice version and Silvertongue is some kind of a meaner version. But
the Moon Knight person? What's his name? Steven something?
yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so he kind
it's
of...
Steven, Mark, and someone else. Whatever.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... as I said, it's kind of the first chapter in. You're like
Just
Molly
kinda
said,
thrown into
you're
it.
just thrown into it.
Yeah.
And I also wondered, it seems like they're kind of gypsy-ish or travelers. It seems like they've moved
yes.
a bunch of times, and I don't know how many. I don't know if that's even important, but it seems like they
It's important later on.
Okay, it seems like they move constantly.
Yes. They do.
She's in a school, but doesn't seem like she wants to go to that school or cares.
They didn't
if
really
anybody-
ever mention it.
Yeah.
They never said that she did homework or that she made any
Right.
friends.
It didn't seem like she would, if she left, she would miss it though.
Yeah.
Like she hadn't formed attachments yet.
Well, I mean, she liked the house. It says
Yes,
later on that she
the
liked
house seemed really cool.
It did. Yeah.
So
It didn't have a heater though, which I thought was kind of weird.
didn't?
No,
Maybe it's warm there all the time. I don't know.
because they always had a fire going. So.
And right off the bat, I don't like Mo.
Really?
I don't like him at all.
He was one of my favorite characters.
And maybe later he'll grow on me.
Honestly, I have a lot of favorite characters in this book, though.
It's impossible.
No.
The word favorite.
No.
You cannot have more
I
than
can't
one
have more
favorite.
than one favorite.
Whatever. But yeah, I don't like him. He seems like a liar. And I get the parents sometimes have to protect their kids from things, and so you don't want to scare them. But he just doesn't seem, throughout the first chapter, very truthful. Huh?
Fatherly.
Yeah, he seems almost like protecting her because it's a job rather than protecting her because he's been raising her as a child from the time she was born. So that's another thing that makes me wonder where she came into his life. Like, is it recently? Is it... Because it doesn't seem...
Well, she was 11 or 12. I can't remember, but she was either
Yeah.
11 or 12.
Yeah, I think she was 12, but
Yeah.
I don't remember for sure. So I don't have a lot of predictions yet. I don't know who Mo... Now, I have read a little bit further than the first chapter, but I still don't know who he was, because I'm going under the impression that he had a life before her, and he's not her father. So I wonder who he was before she entered his life as like a caregiver and not as a father. Like, did he have? Was he in carnival, or was he?
Oh,
Was he like a plumber, or I don't know what he did before, but I think he was something else. I don't know.
Trying to remember if it says it or not, but his profession is a bookbinder.
Oh, it does say that. You're right.
Yeah,
that would be an awesome.
I know, that would be
awesome
so
job.
cool. Because like as you're like fixing up the pages, you could like read it and like go through it. I think that'd be like really fun.
And all the different types of books and different.
Yeah,
it would be really.
Because Meggie puts it, she goes, she says how he puts new clothes on books. So it's like she dresses up her dolls and whatever, and he dresses up his books. So I thought that was kind of cute.
But you're right. Now that you say that, that would be a really fun job, I think.
Yeah.
Because we both all like books and like looking at old books in bookstores, and so that would be really. I think the coolest book I have, I think Mom got it for me, or you kids got it for me for Father's Day, or maybe birthday. I don't remember which one it was, but it's my C.S. Lewis, Perelandria. I think it's a first edition. It's not signed, but it's like a first edition, and it's old looking. And it's
was it in the case at Half Price Bookstore? Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I like old tiny books.
Yeah, that was cool.
Now, we mentioned that it was pretty dark, kind of right off the bat. Was it the darkest book you had like read as far as mood and?
No, probably not. Well, I think the darkest one that I read was probably the Warrior series.
Really?
All those books.
Yeah. How many of them were there? 32?
36.
36. And see, she likes to read.
That was great. I was dedicated to those books.
Yeah. Didn't you say you?
I made a map.
Mapped it all out.
And of the old map, because they had to move like later on in the series, and so I made a map of their old map and then of their new one. And I listed all the characters and what clans they were in.
That's right.
But I did it before I read the last book, so I was like so dedicated that I changed it halfway through. I'm like, oh no, it's
right.
Right. It was horrible.
And that's the best series you've read so far, or your favorite? Maybe not the best, but your favorite.
So far, probably.
Yeah.
My favorite.
So. Was this kind of a change? Because you love animals, and you really never did like dolls. Your thing was more animals.
Dolls are creepy.
And stuff like that. Yeah,
some of them.
Yeah, and the ones with the blinky eyes.
Yeah, American Girl dolls.
I never liked those. So you primarily read stories that involved like animals, and this is just a people one. Was it?
Oh, like Watership Down.
Yeah,
that's such a good book.
Yeah, I never.
Like it was on animals still, but like, it was still really good.
So was it weird to read like a book, like three books series that really? I mean, there's animals in it, but just kind of they just happen to be in it. It's not about
like
them.
Just little things. But I don't think it was like a super big change because I had read books about people for school.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
But it was different, definitely from what I normally read.
Yeah.
Because it was a little dark.
Yeah.
Nothing too bad though.
So we're not going too far ahead here. I have read more than we're covering today, and there are knives and dark characters and so guns. Yes.
Which I think the rating is like ages 10 to 12.
Yeah, that seems a little young.
It's a children's book.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 8 to 10. I can't remember. I don't think it would be 8 to 10. That just seems
8 to 10 seems
like
really
a stupid
young.
idea.
Yeah. I mean, I would do probably like the TV shows.
I do.
TV 14.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that dark. I would say maybe.
Yeah, it's not gruesome.
12, 14.
It's just dark ideas. Dark.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely
sinister people doing not bloody or gory things, or at least they're not described as like bloody and gory. But you know what they want to do. It's pretty dark compared to like
later on it
the
gets
Hardy Boys or
interesting.
Even like Lord of the Rings, for as dark as the movies could be, it really, you never really feel like, I don't know, it just seemed dark for what, I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, maybe, I'm trying to think what kids' books or young adult books I read growing up.
Really dark, I don't think. Like, I've never read a book for the age rating that it is that's like pretty heavy on that.
Although the young adult thing is kind of a new...
I would put it in young adult. I wouldn't put it in kids. I'd put it in young adult.
Yeah, very Hunger Games-ish, Maze Runner.
I mean, I wouldn't really know because I've never read either of those.
But they deal with, I mean, people going out into the woods and hunting other people.
Yeah.
I mean, so I wouldn't recommend that to my 10-year-old.
No.
Yeah, this is very not a kid's book. But still, it's good.
Yeah.
See, I was just going to ask you a question. I forgot.
Oh.
Entirely what it was.
I hate when you do that.
Yeah.
Like when you walk into a room and you can't remember what you're gonna. Like you're going into the kitchen and get a piece of cake and you're like, I think I wanted Cheetos.
That sounds better than cake.
It honestly does.
Yeah, we're salty people. We don't really like the sweets.
Salty.
Yeah.
But I really like this book. And the characters introduced later on, I think, are
I know what it was.
definitely better than just like the first 10 chapters.
So, what's up with all the swearing?
The swearing.
So many D words. So many.
Okay.
Not all
so
throughout it.
So it gets actually way worse in the second and the third book.
Yeah. So again, it's not for 8 to 10 year olds.
It was made in 2013 or 2008. It was made in 2008. Yeah. But in the second and third books, there's like a whole bunch of son of a times 3.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you thrice a cursing, it's great, but like, I'm like, what?
Well, it does make it more, because
it's not sugar-coated.
Right, it makes
like, people would actually say that.
That's what they would say, instead of gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it.
Shucks. I mean, so I don't mind so much that stuff. I'd rather have that than all of any kind of sexual thing, especially for teens or whatever. So the language isn't,
It's
doesn't
not
bother
bad.
me as a parent too much. Like if it was like talking about people getting in bed together and hopping around, that would be more of a thing. Okay, we need to stop reading this. Whereas language, and we've heard worse language around the street here. So it's not great, but
it's better than some.
Yeah,
things.
it's better than some, and it's not like explicit. There was from reading
just the first
animal
book. It's
books
really only
to reading books where there's swear words in them.
Yeah. It's really only darn. I mean, I can't say it.
Right.
But
Right. Well, you physically able to say it.
I can, but I won't.
Right.
Because my mom will get mad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think overall for first impression was I like the book.
Yes.
I'm curious where it's going to go. I don't think that she's the daughter. I don't like Mo all that much.
I really liked Mo.
I don't like him.
I don't know why you didn't.
So yeah, something about him. I just don't like him. And is the guy in the raincoat? Is he in the first chapter? Is he named in the first chapter?
Dustfinger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it might be the second chapter.
It's real close. Whatever.
Really near the beginning.
It just seemed like, again, as a father, and this is me not knowing what's going to happen, but I don't know that I would have allowed somebody like that to enter my house.
Well,
maybe, hey, you can't. I'll meet you for coffee in the morning, or I'll do. But to just have somebody that's like sneaking, like looking at your house from across the street in the rain with their duster on and rain dripping off the brim of their hat, and it just seems like.
But Dustfinger knows him. Like it says it later on, but they know each other.
Yeah, but I guess it seems weird that if you know me, then why are you hanging out across the street?
Why are you stalking me?
Right.
Just knock.
Come knock on the door. Yeah. So I didn't really understand that.
It's like, if Aubrey were to want us to come outside, and he's just like standing there staring at our door at the end of the driveway. It's just like, you can knock. We know you.
Yeah, come on over. And then, I mean, if they really are friends, it seems like you would stay in.
It didn't say they were friends.
Well, you just said they were friends.
Oh.
Or did you say they knew each other?
I just said they knew each other.
Okay. But yeah, and so if I'm not your friend and you're stalking me and I'm going to invite you into my house where my daughter's there and you're all being creepy about it, I just
staring up at her through the window.
I just don't think that I would probably invite you in. Again, it seems like a very untrustworthy, unparent-like thing to do. Especially if you're supposedly trying to protect... It seems like he's trying to protect her from something that Dustfinger might know about or is bringing with him. So, again, it just was another instance where I'm like, I don't really like him.
He's got a bad rap, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely hard to like, but it's worth it. It's worth it, Dad.
Not really much happens in the second chapter that I can think of. They go into the house, they meet, they talk about Silvertongue or Mo.
I like Silvertongue better. I always refer to him as Silvertongue, unless you're like.
He seems to be hiding something from his daughter. Does she know at that point it's a book, or is that later on in the chapter where she overhears?
I think she sees it when they're leaving.
Okay.
Because he has the package and puts it behind his back.
He hides it, right? Yeah. Right.
So. But I mean, honestly, I'd have just told her. Like.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
She's not gonna tell. Like, who would she? She has no friends.
Right.
Who would she tell?
You've been taking her from schools, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand, and for as far as I've read, it doesn't even seem to be that big of a deal when you find out what it is.
No, it's like it's a
kind of
book.
like, oh,
what?
Wait, and again, I won't spoil it until later, but it's like there's something special about that. Well, there's something special about it, but it's nothing that you can't do with another book. It seems.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. It seems more that he should be hiding what he can do,
what he can, what he did, rather than the book.
Yeah.
Like, what harm is she gonna do if she picks it up and reads it?
Yeah, especially if she can't do what he can.
Yeah.
I mean, that we know about. I don't know if she can or not. I haven't got that far.
I mean, just like
I have, but I can't talk about it right now.
But I mean, just like even at bedtime, just like.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I don't know. I just never really got that part.
I never really believed
why would
that.
Why?
Yeah. It didn't make sense of why you're hiding this one book from her when it doesn't seem to matter that it's the book.
No, it doesn't.
But so nothing really much in the second chapter. No real insight other than they're having a discussion in maybe a library room. It seems like where he is. Repairing all of the books that he's working on. Dustfinger leaves, and then...
Or so we think!
Right. Dun, dun, dun. And then, obviously, Meggie has been spying, and Mo's not happy, tells her to go back to bed, and then she finally gets to sleep, and he gets her up pretty early in the morning, right?
Okay, yes, but
this is... Okay.
She goes, I want to know what's going on. I want to know why we had to get up at 5 o'clock and why I don't have to go to school. I want to know if we're ever going to come back, and I want to know who this Capricorn is. Mo says, everyone has a few secrets, Meggie. Now come along, get in. We have to leave. And then Dustfinger looks at Mo and says, you haven't told her? But but you have to tell her something. It's dangerous for her not to know. She's not a baby anymore. And... Meggie goes, it's dangerous. Or Mo says it's dangerous for her to know too, and it wouldn't change anything. Which is what I don't get. If it wouldn't change anything, why not tell her?
Then why not tell her? Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's in the third chapter, by the way, near the end.
And this is a little bit. I don't think writing in young adult is as tight as writing in a lot of fiction books, but that's not necessarily the case because there's a lot of plot holes in grown-up books as well. But it just seems like if you're going to make a big deal out of something, it should be something that really should matter.
It's like, yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that's...
He said it wouldn't change anything. Which is infuriating.
And, you know, but yeah, I don't think that it...
I don't know. It just seemed kind of...
Yeah. So, they get up the next morning early. 5 in the morning? Just say it's fiction, okay. 5 o'clock in the morning, which is too early to...
Too early.
I don't think Mo probably went to sleep. He probably was up... I would assume he was up all night thinking or plotting.
Probably was packing or...
Yeah.
Plotting.
So, throws her in the car. They're headed out the door. And Dustfinger... is at the bottom. I was unsure if they were on a property that had a long
I think
driveway.
it was a property. I think it was like a gravel, windy driveway. And because they had a gate where their house was. And the gate was open.
The gate was open.
He was leaning against the gate, waiting for them.
But then, that's the other thing that was confusing because in the first chapter it says he was like outside, like against like a light post, like staring at them from across like the road.
Yes, yeah. But he came in. And then left.
But then when they leave in the morning, it seems like they're going down kind of a windy road trying to get out of town. And then he's at the bottom of like a hill or something.
Well, no, it's in their property.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure it's in their property.
Okay.
I'm not.
So, and I would have just drove past. I would have been like...
Well, he was in the way.
Yeah, I can make you get out of my way. I mean, really. If you really wanted somebody...
Dustfinger, car.
Yeah. Yeah, and problem solved. So I would have not have, again. I don't think a father would have like
let him in their car.
Yeah.
Or if anything, lock it.
Right.
That way he can get like.
Right. Okay. Stand in front of there, and I'll just drive slowly, and you'll either get out of the way or I'll run you over.
Or you'll just be pushed slowly with me.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't understand why he stopped and got out, and they talked, and he let him into the car.
Yeah, that was...
It didn't make... Especially if they're not friends. I mean, they know each other, but they're not friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, where do they head after that? Are they going to the aunt's house? Or
they're going to their aunt's house.
Eleanor?
Oh my gosh, I love her.
Eleanor, her 18th favorite person.
Much. You're mean!
So many favorite people. You can have one.
Okay.
Maybe one boy, one girl. One favorite person. Who is it?
I can't... I mean, could I say their name? I mean, they come on like way later in the book.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
I actually forgot his name.
Oh, so a favorite person you forgot?
No. Stop. I did not like Finoglio at all.
Who?
Finoglio.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I'm there, but yeah, he was okay. He seemed...
Farid.
Yeah.
Farid is my favorite guy.
Which one's
Eleanor is my favorite girl. I can't say.
Okay.
I can't say.
I do like Eleanor, although she seems... Can we talk? Is she's next. They're on the way to her house. She's... let's talk about her. She's evidently rich, wealthy. We're not sure how she got to be wealthy, right?
She buys and sells books.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she's...
So she's built in it, but she doesn't seem to really sell them anymore. She seems to just buy them. And she's filled a mansion with...
Yes.
With books. And so they're going to her house because... it's going to be a safe place to stay until they can figure out what to do next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the idea. I do like her. She's way better than Mo, I think. The one
She's much more motherly.
critique I would have, of her is they seem to make her almost like very, in some instances, very strong-willed, and sometimes almost
and then she's
helpless.
Like so depressed.
Yeah,
and then she's back, and then she's depressed again, and it's like.
So I don't know if she's like
have a rhythm, people.
Plot device yet, or I mean, she is prominent throughout much of the book, or she's at least in it a lot.
Yeah.
But I do like her, but she's the one that first started all the swearing, right?
Yeah.
There was no swearing up until Eleanor.
Chapter 5.
Yeah. And she seemed super annoyed that they showed up.
Well, she was annoyed at Meggie and Dustfinger. She actually likes Mo.
But so Mo is her cousin?
No.
It's her brother.
Mo married what's her face? I forgot her name.
Maggie's mom?
Yeah.
See, I don't buy that.
And Eleanor was Maggie's mom's aunt.
Okay. So they're related somehow.
Yes. Not necessarily blood
somehow.
related.
Yeah.
But
Marriage-ish type of a thing, if you
Yeah.
believe that, which I'm not sure that I do. But then you'd have to explain, I guess, or I would have to explain if Maggie's mom came from somewhere else or somehow not who she says, then where did Eleanor come from? But those are things to discuss later, I suppose.
I suppose.
She seems though super annoyed that they're there. Like, I'm reading my books, leave me alone.
I honestly would be too if I were her. I'd be
Yeah.
like, you showed up, you didn't even call, you brought a stranger, your daughter, who I hate.
Well, does she not know who Dustfinger is?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, 'cause she's like, yeah, who's this guy? But I don't know why she doesn't like Meggie.
She doesn't like kids. They mess up with her.
Yeah, but
books.
it's her sister's.
Well, they mess with her books. Like the last time she had kids
I
over,
wanted to
there was
touch
a
'em.
piece of dried bologna for a bookmark,
That's right. Which it's
and
kind of
a dead
gross.
frog for a bookmark, and like bugs squashed between the pages. So she doesn't like kids
Yeah. Okay.
because they ruin her books.
But I mean, yeah. Okay. All right. And so they go. They finally convince her to let them stay there for what? At least one night, maybe two.
Well,
isn't it?
I think it was several weeks because Mo was gonna also fix her books. She said Dustfinger could only stay for a couple of days,
nights, right?
but Meggie and Mo can stay for however long they need
long
to
as they
fix her
want it.
books.
But she did seem to know, if I'm remembering correctly, about the book, right? Because she wanted to put it in like a special place.
Yeah, she wanted to put it in a special place because it was the only one left.
Right.
Because there had been several break-ins to different stores getting the book.
Right.
The Inkheart.
And the book is called Inkheart.
Yeah,
that
which
they're
is a
trying
little
to
weird.
define. The book we're reading is this book they're supposed to be hiding,
Yeah.
which is now a book that's published all throughout the world.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very
I
confusing.
don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, so it is supposedly the last book that we know about. So yes, she wanted to keep it, but he didn't want her to display it because he knows somebody's after it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they're really there. Because Dustfinger told them in chapter 2 that what's the guy? Capricorn wants to know where
Oh my gosh,
Silvertongue is at.
Ugly.
Yes,
Like, they don't show a picture, but his description is, like,
is the
ugly.
be hideous.
He's a monster!
So they're hiding from him.
Yeah.
And because he wants the book, but we don't know why.
No, we don't.
We don't have any idea just why he would want this book, which makes sense then why Mo would be hiding it. But when you find out what is really the thing, it doesn't really make sense why this book is. I don't know. I mean, I get why it's important to Capricorn because it's kind of explained later on. But again, it doesn't seem like the book is that important, especially when you have this talent.
I don't know. It's a
So,
little weird.
and I think basically end of chapter 5, they get there
I'm not sure.
and I think it's just they get settled in.
It was just they entered the house and there's books lining everything.
Okay. So they are in Eleanor's mansion, which honestly it sounded a little cold. Like it didn't like
Just bookshelves on every wall,
Yes.
which that doesn't sound inviting.
and one of them all white. Like it didn't seem very like warm and like what I would want in a library, the natural wood shelves and the cool chunky chairs and leather.
They were all gray bookshelves with
Yeah.
white ceiling
Yeah.
and gray walls. If there were any walls
Yeah,
that you could see.
very
She
like-
really liked gray because it says in her description she had a gray sweater, gray
She's sad.
Gray leggings.
Yeah.
And she'd wear like these fuzzy gray slippers.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I don't remember that. But
I
yeah.
think they were slippers. And maybe they were like moccasins that she'd just wear everywhere. But
So, do you think that's any kind of like, I don't know, foreshadowing
and
or
she is really cold.
imagery about, yeah. So cold, a little depressed, it seems like.
Yes.
Reclusive.
Which
not,
it tells
not
about
very
her
warm.
father later on. And it says she has sisters. But she doesn't seem to ever connect with them or anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe they died. I don't know. It never says.
And I mean, from what I've read, it hasn't said. I don't even remember talking about her dad, but that doesn't mean it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, for as much as I would love a place like that was full of books, it really didn't seem like a place that I would want to go because it seemed so just like officey or hospital-y, like just cold and sterile.
Yeah, it's not super inviting.
All the coolest books were behind stuff, so you couldn't even look at them or touch them, or I mean.
Yeah, they were behind glass cases.
Yeah,
because she calls her books her papery children.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of creepy. Like,
yeah, which is just a step below people who call their dogs their children.
Well, some people are just like that lonely. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you could.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure different people have different lives, but.
That's true. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Who could have thought that you, who doesn't care about any other person's opinion, would have been too cold?
Yeah.
What?
Really? So, all right. Well, I think that's. I mean,
probably good for the beginning little
the
episode
beginning
thingy.
one. I don't think there's anything that we really left out that's of any importance anyway.
Yeah.
So I think the next 5 chapters is kind of more. It advances the story a bit more. Things kind of get rolling.
Explained for sure.
Explained for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So until then, like and subscribe. Hit those noties.
It was good talking. Good talking with you
Good
today,
talking.
Dad.
Pleasure, as always.